Today on NBA 2K24, we will be doing a fantasy draft. Whenever a new game comes out, whether it's MLB The Show or Madden, or in this case 2K, I enjoy doing a fantasy draft. It's become an annual tradition at this point, and we've got to keep it rolling here with 2K. When I made my fantasy draft video last year for 2K23, I'm pretty sure I did one of the older rosters in one of the previous eras. So we're going to stick with the modern era, the current day rosters. The team I select doesn't really matter because it is a fantasy draft overall. So we are going to select the Sacramento Kings. They have cool new jerseys. That's really the only reason why I chose them. Oh, would you look at this? We got the number one pick of the draft. Now, unfortunately, the one bad thing about this is we have to wait until the end of the second round before we pick again. But still, we can pick any player in the entire league that we want. And I feel like it's only right to draft Nikola Jokic. He's the best player on the planet right now. Reigning Finals MVP. Highest rated player in the game. Can't go wrong. So now we've got to wait until the end of the second round. A lot of young guys are going off the board. And I do want to go young. Rather than like a Chris Paul here, I think it makes more sense to look at youth. So we're going to select Jaden Ivey here with our second pick. I feel like he's been really overlooked by NBA fans. And then we're going to draft Alperen Şengün. The playmaking with him and Jokic is going to be ridiculous. Two of the best passing bigs in the game. I was very torn between Şengün and Scoot Henderson, and we almost had Scoot fall to our pick here. We had him go about 5 picks prior, unfortunately. So instead, we're going to go with a different rookie with Amen Thompson, and it's only fitting that we get twin brother Ausar Thompson to kick off the 5th round. This team has like no spacing, but we'll make it work. These guys are young. I feel like we got to prioritize shooting. Ochai Agbaji, ironically, would have been a really good pick. We're going to go with Isaiah Joe, though, one of the best shooters off the catch in the league, and we're going to get another rookie here in round 7 with Jarris Walker, who I think is going to be one of the best players in this year's draft class. The fact that he fell to the 8th pick is wild to me. Speaking of 8, we are now in the 8th round. We're going to get Daniel Gafford, and then in the 9th round, we're going to get the talented young guard Anthony Black, drafted by the Orlando Magic this year. So we have 4 rookies, 4 of whom were all drafted within the top 8 picks. And now that we only have a few more picks to go, there really are not many good players left. I mean, we can draft the Danilo Gallinari's and the Marcus Morrises of the world, or we can get players who could be young assets down the line, like Dariq Whitehead, like Nick Smith Jr., and we're going to continue that trend here for the final few rounds. It doesn't necessarily have to be rookies, but the players we're targeting all happen to be rookies. We're going to get Jordan Walsh and Leonard Miller. And now we get Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick of the draft. All of these other players are going to enter free agency while we select Andre Jackson Jr., get some of that big perimeter defense and some winning DNA to round out the bench. Nikola Jokic is certainly going to have to carry this squad. I think the pairing with him and Şengün should be pretty fun. Jokic is the only player older than 25, and we only have 3 players older than 21. Yeah, this team is pretty young. That's one way to put it. We've got 2 rookies starting with Anthony Black and Ausar Thompson joining Ivey, Şengün, and Jokic. And then we've got some young guys on the bench along with Daniel Gafford and Isaiah Joe. So let's do some simulating, see how the season goes. And overall, the team was not too bad. We went over 500 as Jason Tatum wins the MVP with the Orlando Magic. Victor Wembanyama wins the Rookie of the Year. He was drafted in the late 1st round by Detroit. Anthony Davis still on the Lakers. Devin Booker with the Warriors wins the Clutch Player of the Year as Jokic makes the All-NBA First Team. We should have some All-Rookie members for sure. Ausar Thompson, the only one on the first team, but here we go on the second team with Amen Thompson, Anthony Black, and Jarris Walker. So we end up finishing as the 6th seed. We're going to the playoffs at 43-39. We tied the Mavericks, but I guess we had whatever tiebreaker over them. Nikola Jokic had a very good year, as expected. Only one other player, though, Jaden Ivey, scored over 15 a night, with Alperen Şengün, Ausar Thompson, and Isaiah Joe also in the double figures, along with Amen Thompson, who had a great season for us off the bench. Daniel Gafford and Isaiah Joe are a little bit banged up, though, so the bench is really just rookies. As we play against the Rockets, led by Giannis, Tyler Hero, Jared Allen, and Ochai Agbaji, they do have 2 big injuries in the backcourt with Lonzo Ball and Marcus Smart. I feel like this team would be really good if they were healthy, but clearly they're not. They're without 2 of their key guards, and it's not going to matter. We get swept. I didn't expect this team to be all that good here in year 1, so it's not that big of a deal, as Giannis and the Rockets face off against Jimmy Butler and the Knicks in the finals. The Knicks are also led by Nicholas Claxton, Malik Monk, and Markelle Fultz. I feel like the Rockets are quite a bit better than this team on paper, so we'll see what happens. Pretty competitive series up to this point. The Knicks seem to have the edge, and Jimmy Butler wills the New York Knicks to a finals victory. That'll bring us into our first offseason, and part of my strategy was drafting guys who are signed for a while, such as the rookies. We don't have to pay anybody in free agency, so it should be a pretty easy offseason for us with nobody needing to be re-signed. We don't really have a ton of money to spend, though, so I'm just going to look to add some shooting with Buddy Hield. He can shoot the three, and that's what this team needs. So Buddy Hield will return to the Sacramento Kings, where he once played. Our offseason is the player progression stage. This is where things get fun. Jaden Ivey, +4. We have one of the Thompson twins. Asar Thompson goes up by 3. Amen Thompson up by 2. Not super big jumps for the other rookies. Jarris Walker only up by 1. The other guy's up by 2. And that'll bring us into the second season of the day. I hope this team can perform a little bit better with the addition of Buddy Hield and with some of the progressions we've made. Amen Thompson will start at point guard this year. Anthony Black and Asar Thompson will come off the bench. So we're doing pretty well here at the All-Star break. We're 30-20. I kind of want to make a move. We're third place in a very, very competitive Western Conference. But the problem is there isn't really a move we can make because we don't have many tradable contracts. I wanted to add a guard, and a guy I was looking at was De'Aaron Fox, but our only big contract to trade is Jokic, and then the other two guys making over $10 million a year, Gafford and Hield, are both injured. I thought about like a Sengun package for a guy like De'Aaron Fox, but I don't think it's going to work. I think we're going to have to stand pat with what we've got. And that proves to be a great decision. The team was phenomenal after the All-Star break, going 25-7. The most notable award here has to be R.J. Barrett, averaging 27 a game on the Mavericks, winning the Clutch Player of the Year award. The Mavericks have Kevin Durant, too. It's not like they don't have other guys who can score the ball. Jokic makes the All-NBA second team as our Sacramento Kings finish as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, 55-27. How about that? Big season for Sacramento. Jokic's numbers take a hit, but that's because we've got more mouths to feed. The other players on the roster have gotten better at scoring the ball. Let's see who we're going to play against here in the first round. It's going to be the Portland Trailblazers, led by the MVP Luka Doncic. They also have Desmond Bane, Aaron Gordon, Valanciunas. This is honestly a pretty good team for an 8th seed. I'm not going to lie. I think they were the number 1 seed last year. I'm surprised they weren't so good this year. But no issue for us. A gentleman's sweep. We win in 5 as we face off against the Los Angeles Clippers in the second round, led by Steph Curry, DeJounte Murray. They've got a really deep bench. 480-plus players led by well-known woman respecter Kevin Porter Jr. No issue for our Sacramento Kings, though. Now, we are struggling a little bit, but we win in 6. We're going to play against the Pelicans in the conference finals. New Orleans, they've got a nice squad. Darius Garland and Bam Adebayo lead the way. And they've got some youngins, too, with Benedict Mathurin and Brandon Miller. I feel like this could be a really fun team in the future, and now as well. Darius Garland is really good in this game, and it shows as they beat us in 5. So the Pelicans will play against Jason Tatum in Orlando in the finals, and it goes to the Magic. So Jason Tatum gets a ring. That'll bring us into offseason number 2, and I think we're going to be more aggressive. We have some draft picks to potentially look to trade. So basically what I'm looking to do is packaging our first rounder, Daniel Gafford, Isaiah Joe, or Buddy Hield, and some of our young guys for a proven good player. I was going to do Isaiah Joe, but he has a no-trade clause, so we're going to switch to Buddy Hield instead. I wanted to start with Trae Young. The Spurs said no. I then pivoted to Karl Anthony Towns, and the Sixers said yes. So we traded away some of our depth young players along with Buddy Hield, Daniel Gafford, and a late 1 for Karl Anthony Towns. We have to re-sign Alperen Şengün. Obviously, all of these big men are not going to work together. We can't field a lineup with Jokic, Şengün, and Cat. So we're going to re-sign Şengün and then look to trade either him or Karl Anthony Towns. And ultimately, I decided to put Şengün in the trade finder. Most of these offers were not good, but I like this one from the Grizzlies. We'll be trading Şengün and Nick Smith Jr. for Tyrese Maxey and a first-round pick in this year's draft. So we had the big offseason that I feel like we needed, adding Karl Anthony Towns and Tyrese Maxey. The only super important player we lost was Alperen Şengün. We were able to keep most of the young guys as Ivy goes up by 3. One of the Thompsons, Amen Thompson, goes up by 4. Asar goes up by 3. Black and Walker go up by 3 as well, and that'll bring us into season number 3. We've got a loaded lineup with Jaden Ivey, Tyrese Maxey, Asar Thompson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Nikola Jokic, with some of our youngsters, Amen Thompson, Isaiah Joe, Jarris Walker, and Anthony Black leading the bench. We still have Dariq Whitehead here as well. I really like this team, and sure enough, we had a great year. Nikola Jokic wins the MVP. How exciting is that? We ended up finishing with a record of 61-21, the best in the league, with Jokic making the All-NBA first team. Obviously, I mean, he won the MVP. It really feels like this could be our year. 11 games ahead of first place in the West, 7 games ahead of anybody in the entire league. Point differential, considerably number 1. The highest scoring offense, the 4th lowest scoring defense. This team is really, really good. Jokic is an MVP. Jaden Ivey has blossomed into a star. The Thompson twins are really developing nicely. And we'll get a rematch with the New Orleans Pelicans, the team who we lost to in the conference finals last year. Pretty much the same team, but they added Jared Vanderbilt, who I feel like is a perfect fit for them at the 4. Now, they are the 8 seed, though. They're a lot worse for whatever reason. And we end up winning in 5. We'll play against the Thunder here in the next round. They signed Josh Giddey in free agency. They also still have Chet Holmgren as well, along with Julius Randle. So it's like they traded Shea and Jalen Williams and all their young guys for Julius Randle. We sweep them, and we're going to play against the Lakers, who still have Anthony Davis. They also have Mikal Bridges and Draymond Green. I feel like Draymond always ends up on the Lakers whenever I make one of these videos. I don't know why. It feels like it's fate. But regardless, it's not going to matter. We win in 5, and we're going to the finals against the Washington Wizards, the number 1 seed of the Eastern Conference. That's where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. Him and Jalen Green lead the way, and they've got a pretty solid starting 5 with those guys, with Jaden McDaniels, Trey Murphy, and Nikola Vucevic, and they've got a pretty deep bench as well. I think we can win, though, but they've got a squad, clearly, considering they're up 3-0, and they win in 5, with Shai averaging 40 in the finals. That's unfortunate. I feel like this is really our last year because we've got a lot of guys who are due for contracts at the end of next season. We've got some rookies who we drafted and will look to trade away as value, while Jaden Ivey will be brought back on a big 5-year extension. I feel like we're just missing that one final piece, probably somebody who can play the 3. We've got some draft picks. We've got some young players. We can't really make any moves now. We can't trade our rookies yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way over to player progression first, so some of our young players can get better, so we can maybe trade them off. Tyrese Maxey gets worse, but Ivy goes up by 2. One of the Thompsons is up by 2. The other is up by 3. Black is up by 3. Jarris Walker is up by 2. So this is the move we're going to make. Anthony Black, Dariq Whitehead, and 3 first-round picks for Brandon Ingram. He's the missing piece, and now we've got an unreal lineup. We're going to keep a Thompson twin in the starting lineup. That's Amen Thompson, who's joined by Ivy, Ingram, Towns, and Jokic. Tyrese Maxey will lead the second unit. I think his scoring there will be very nice, along with Amen Thompson, Jarris Walker, and Isaiah Joe. So as we make it to the end of the year, Victor Wembanyama wins the MVP on Detroit. Man, I wish that could happen in real life. Victor Wembanyama also wins the Defensive Player of the Year. No Nikola Jokic on the All-NBA teams, but it's not going to matter because our Sacramento Kings were unbelievable this year. The number 1 seed at 70-12. We had the same gap from us to second place that second place did to 13th place in the West. That's pretty good. 8 games ahead of anybody in the league. Best point differential, number 1 offense, number 1 defense. There's no way this team doesn't win it all, right? We're playing against the Utah Jazz in the first round. They're led by Ja Morant. They've got a pretty good young team with him, and they have Trae Young coming off the bench. That's a weird squad, but, I mean, I like the players they've got there. Not going to matter, though. Bring out the brooms, and we'll be playing against the Denver Nuggets next. They're led by Anthony Edwards. The rest of their team doesn't really scare me. They have Jeremy Sohan, Jakob Poeltl, Nikola Vucevic. I feel like we should handle them. We're not, though. We're kind of struggling a little bit as we win in 6, and we will rematch with the LA Lakers, who still have Anthony Davis. They still have Mikal Bridges. They've added Wendell Carter to replace Draymond, who I'm pretty sure retired. So let's see how we can do here as we try to get back to our 2nd consecutive finals. And it looks like, we're kind of struggling here, but we do. We win in 6, and we're going to play against Jason Tatum and the Atlanta Hawks. Tatum won a championship 2 seasons ago with the Magic. Now he's here in Atlanta along with Jamal Murray, Clint Capella. They've got the Kansas White Boys, Grady Dick and Christian Brown. I don't like our chances because they've got both of them. And this is a really competitive series so far, but we're down 3-2. We're going to simcast Game 6. This feels like really our last shot to win a championship. And we don't get the job done. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping to potentially do another season, but as you'll see here in free agency, we've got to pay both the Thompson twins and Jarris Walker, and the problem is, and along with Isaiah Joe, and the problem is we can't re-sign any of these guys. If we can't win with the big five that we've got now and our young players' depth, how are we supposed to win without Jarris Walker and the Thompson twins? So I don't think this team can get it done, which is unfortunate because we built a loaded squad. Nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. What other one-off 2K videos would you guys like to see? Let me know down below in the comment section. Peace out.